UFC 266, Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler. My prediction is that I have no prediction. I predict it'll be a good fight. That's about the only prediction that I do have. As far as who I think will win, I couldn't tell you, man. I think both of those guys, I think they have a pretty good chance at beating each other. They're both really good. I'm a fan of both of them, so even if I did kind of feel like one will beat the other, I still wouldn't want to say it because I don't know. You know, I like them both. And it's cool to see Nick Diaz finally return, finally get back in there. I was a Nick Diaz fan before it was cool to be a Nick Diaz fan, long before this Conor McGregor craze came along. But as far as the fight goes, you know, obviously I've seen interviews leading up to this fight with Nick Diaz. You know, Nick is gonna be Nick. You know, Nick, he said, I saw an interview of him saying he feels he should have gotten Kamaru Usman. Like, why would you think you deserve a shot at Kamaru Usman, a champion? That makes absolutely no sense. After a 6-year hiatus, you feel like you deserve a shot against the man, and I get it. Then Diaz, I think we can all agree, both him and his brother, the Diaz brothers, if MMA had no time limits, they would be undefeated, hands down. We all know that. The Diaz brothers, they warriors, and like if there was no rounds and time limits, undefeated, hands down. But the fact is, MMA is a game. It's got rules and stuff, and when it comes to the game of MMA, they're anything but undefeated. They have a lot of losses on their record because they don't know how to play the MMA game, you know? So how could you deserve a shot at a champion when your resume doesn't say you deserve it? You know, I can't remember what his last fights in the UFC looked like, but I know he wasn't winning. So why would you come back after several losses and deserve a shot at Kamaru Usman? That makes no sense. You know, he was complaining that he has to do the rematch against Robbie Lawler. First of all, why would you complain about having a rematch? I feel like that's a perfect fight to come back from. Y'all fought each other over a decade ago. You know, so give the man his rematch. And it's interesting, you know, people, it's like when we beat somebody, we don't want to give them a rematch. But if we get our asses kicked, and that goes with anything, we want that rematch. We feel entitled to that rematch. So when I hear guys talking about they don't want to fight another guy, go, I already beat him. Okay, you already beat him, but he lost to you. So give him his rematch. You know, it isn't so weird. It's like hypocritical. This is one stupid ass aspect of human nature. I don't know what it is that I can't stand, you know? It's like y'all dumb as fuck. Why be a hypocrite? If you lost, you will want your rematch. But, you know, other than that, you know, I think Nick Diaz is still a cool dude. You know, I still like him over the most part, but that's another aspect of his personality that just reminds me of most people, makes me think, ugh, you know? And y'all people fucking stupid. It's like they hypocrites. We want to kick somebody's ass, and if we win, oh, we want to ride off into the sunset. We don't want to give nobody else they shot at redemption. It's so fucking stupid. But then if we get our asses kicked, oh, we will want that one back. We want to run that one back. It's so damn stupid. But anyway, I think Nick Diaz is a pretty cool dude, and yeah, I think it'll be a good fight nonetheless. And with regard to Robbie Lawler, I feel like this is the perfect fight for Robbie to retire. From, or whatever, however the hell you phrase it or whatever. I feel like this should be Robbie's last fight. I think Robbie should retire, and there's why. I think Robbie, he's been fighting since he's been like, what, he was a teenager, right? Him and Nick pretty much came into the fighting game at the same time, and they've been kicking ass ever since they was teenagers, you know. And Robbie, he's pretty much done it all, you know. He's had his ups and his downs. He's won titles. I don't know. I think he won a title in another organization, but he definitely, obviously, he held the UFC title, you know, and that's like the pinnacle of MMA. Holding that UFC title, that's you've made it. You've conquered the MMA world, you know. So what more does Robbie have to prove? He's one of the most popular fighters on the planet to have ever lived, you know. He's given the fight world memorable matches and knockouts and stuff. So what more does he have to prove, you know? And I feel like a rematch with Nick Diaz would be the perfect way to end his career, especially if he wins it. You know, out of all of Robbie's losses, his loss to Nick Diaz is the most well known. You know, even more so than the Tyron Woodley loss. Yeah, Tyron put him out, but I feel like the Nick Diaz one stands out the most because out of all those, Nick beat Robbie in a time when Robbie was considered unstoppable. You know, it's at least on the feet, right? Robbie was just knocking guys out, and if he did lose, most people thought, all right, it'd be on the ground. No one ever thought he would lose standing up like that, especially to a guy like Nick, who at the time wasn't considered to be a very dangerous fighter on the feet, right? So I feel like that loss really kind of stands out on his resume out of all the losses. There's the Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler got knocked out to Nick, you know. So I feel like if he can avenge that loss, that would be the perfect loss to avenge and ride off into the sunset. Well, you know what, you get my point. I feel like that'll be the best thing for Robbie, you know, because what more does he have to prove, you know? He's done, you know, he's done it all. He's cool. Robbie's one of my favorite fighters. I like he's like one of the silent assassin type of fighter. He's cool, man. I like Robbie Lawler. And Nick is cool as well. So yeah, I personally think Robbie should retire after this fight, especially if he wins it, you know, but I don't think he will. He seems like he's still feeling like he can compete, and he enjoys it. It's like a video game to Robbie. And one of the things I like about Robbie, he's not one of these fighters that's going around talking about money fight, money fight. Robbie's old school like that. Hey, he's content with his money. He don't need millions of dollars. You can tell Robbie he's living a comfortable life, and that's all he needs. He's doing what he loves. He don't need to be competing. You know, a lot of these fighters nowadays, it's like they're just going for the money fight, the big fights and stuff, just so they can say, oh, I made more money than the next person. You know, they don't really need all that goddamn money. These fighters make well over what most normal people make. All right, they're not suffering. You know, it's just to the point now, it's an ego thing, just to say, oh, I made $100 million. Not that you need $100 million. It's just you just want to say, oh, I made all of that money. They're looking at the next guy. Well, he made this, so I want to make more. It's kind of like a kid, you know, like a baby. They see a baby has the baby wasn't thinking about the candy bar, right? But then when that baby sees another baby has a candy bar, now the baby wants a candy bar. You weren't thinking about that candy bar until you saw another baby had that candy bar. Same thing with all this money fight shit. You weren't thinking about millions and millions and millions of dollars up until you saw somebody else finally get that money. And then, of course, there's always been fighters in MMA complaining about the pay, especially a long time ago. Yeah, the pay definitely sucks to some extent, right? But I mean, it's not. I don't think it's as bad as what a lot of these fighters try to make it out to be. It's, MMA fighters in particular, we all know boxers get paid hella money, right? Hella money. But yeah, a lot of MMA fighters, I see them complaining. Just one, I'm going on a tangent. It has nothing to do with the predictions. You don't go on a tangent about the money and stuff. Maybe I'll talk about a fighter pay another time. I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be, right? But real fast about the pay and stuff, a lot of these fighters, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, a lot of these fighters, these MMA fighters, they make more fighting once or twice a year than most normal people do working a 9 to 5 every single day of the year. Think about that. They make more than the average person busting their ass in a 9 to 5. So all these fighters that complain about, unless you fighting on the prelims, and I get it, you know, some of them do, you know, they're not getting paid a lot, but a lot of them are living well. They're living comfortable. They're doing just fine, you know. But anyway, this video ain't about fighter pay and this and that. This video is about my thoughts on Robbie Lawler versus Nick Diaz 2, UFC 266. As far as who's gonna win, I mean, who knows? Who knows? We're gonna see later today, though. We're gonna see later today.